Hi, Scott with FDJtool.com, and I wanted to introduce you to the flexible shaft machine. We sell various kinds of kits that you can use, and I wanted to show you the various components that you might expect to find in a kit. You're going to, of course, get the flexible shaft motor, and attached to that, the flexible shaft, for obvious reasons. You're going to get a speed control, usually a foot pedal that you can depress to adjust the speed of your motor, and you're going to get a handpiece to use your burrs and drills and other various sort of accessories in it. Some fancier kits might even give you a little accessory kit to go along with it. This will get you started to find out the kind of burr or drill that might work best for you. So why don't we take a look at each of these components and show you all about them. Now, flexible shaft kits are going to be comprised basically of the same items. You're going to get the flexible shaft motor, which is this housing here that is suspended by the motor bail when you hang it up. It also has a flexible shaft, which of course is where the machine gets its name. It's basically comprised of a rubber outer sheath that protects an inner drive shaft. The drive shaft is a spring-wound metal shaft that drives your handpiece when you're using it. The shaft is connected to the motor by this plastic cone called the motor connector. Now, the machine itself, depending on the model, will have either on-off switches on them or not. You'll also have various labels on them telling you the manufacturer, the power output, the voltage, things of that nature. There'll even be warning labels just to remind you to wear eye protection when you're using them. You'll also get a speed control. You want to be able to control how fast the motor spins, and the most common type is the foot pedal. By depressing the foot pedal, you increase the speed of your motor, and when you ease up on the foot pedal, the speed of your motor decreases. It's quite simple. Flexible shaft kits will also come with a handpiece. Now, there are different kinds of handpieces available, but most commonly you're going to get this type of handpiece. This is a number 30 style handpiece, or a Jacob's chuck handpiece. And it's called that because of the 3-jawed chuck that holds your burrs and drills when you're using it. These jaws are very much like the drill that you use at home. You take a chuck key and you open up the jaws to insert your accessory, your, again, burr or drill or brush or anything like that, and you tighten it back down until nice and tight, and you're ready to use it. These jaws will hold any type of accessory up to 530 seconds in diameter, so it's quite versatile. There are other handpieces that you can get. There are handpieces that are very thin and very easy to use and hold, but they have a completely different type of jaw in order to hold your accessories. There are also handpieces out there called quick change handpieces, which allow you to, at the flick of a lever or press of a button, to remove your accessory and change it quite quickly. Now, when setting up your flexible shaft machine, you're going to have to hang it up because that's the design of the motor. We recommend using some sort of flexible shaft stand. There are several different kinds that you can use. There's a clamp-on type that we have right here that you clamp onto the side of your table or workbench. There's also the kind that will bolt directly onto the tabletop, or there's even some that you can bolt directly to your wall. Whichever one that you choose, just choose one that's going to work best for you. We happen to like the clamp-on style or the bolt-on style because they often have the ability to adjust the height of the stand, and that will be advantageous to you as you're setting them up. The motor obviously hangs from its motor bail, as I showed you earlier. It will hang directly onto this hook here. Now, if you'll notice, the motor is very low, and as I try to use the flexible shaft, you get a lot of bend in the flex shaft, and that's not a good thing for your flex shaft. It can cause a lot of wear and heat buildup, and you'll have to change that shaft pretty quickly. This is why we like to have an adjustable height stand, because I can just simply, with a turn of a screw, raise up my motor, secure it, and now as I try to use my flexible shaft, I've got much of a less bend in my shaft here, which will make it much easier to use and last longer. When using your flexible shaft, you really don't want any severe bends in your flexible shaft here. Nothing like this or like this, because that, like I said before, can cause undue wear and excessive heat buildup, and it makes you have to replace these much sooner than you should. A good rule of thumb when trying to see if you've got way too much bend in your shaft is that you don't want to have more than an 8-inch diameter bend in this. And what I did is I used my hand, so 8 inches is a little bit bigger than my hand, so I don't want any kind of bend like this. So I always want to keep the bend further out than that. And that's just easy, so I don't have to actually measure anything. Now I set up my flexible shaft stand on the right side of my bench for obvious reasons. I'm right-handed. If I were left-handed, of course it would be over here. And I do that because I want the flexible shaft to be out of the way of me doing any type of work. If I were left-handed and had it on this side, the flexible shaft would be in my way, and I would also have it having way too much bend in the shaft, so it would cause me trouble and cause my flex shaft trouble. So we've got it on the right. Now, one thing to be aware of when setting up your flexible shaft machine is that the motor inside this housing spins at a very high rate of speed. So when you start your flex shaft, you're going to notice that the unit's going to jump or twist just a little bit, something like this. So that twisting is caused by the torque that the motor is producing, and torque is a twisting power that what gives your flex shaft the power to do the work in grinding and drilling and things like that. So now that we've got our motor hanging up, let's finish setting it up. Now, to connect the foot pedal of your flex shaft machine to the motor, you want to make sure that if you have any on-off switch on your motor, you make that sure that's in the off position. Make sure nothing is depressing your foot pedal while you're doing it. You're going to take the power cord of your flexible shaft machine and plug it into your foot pedal. Your foot pedal will also have another plug that you'll plug into a 3-prong socket in your wall. Now that your machine has power, you're going to be ready to use it. Alright, now it's time to connect your handpiece to your flexible shaft. Now when doing so, you want to make sure that the flexible shaft tip that's protruding from your sheath is sticking out just about 3/4 of an inch. I use my thumb as sort of a base guide because it's just about that size, and that's going to work good for me. If it sticks out too far or not enough, you may have trouble connecting it to the inside of your handpiece here. Now there's two different methods that you can use to connect your handpiece. Both will work equally well, it's just whatever is most comfortable for you. The flexible shaft has a little metal tab on one side, and that will connect to a drive shaft that's inside of your flexible shaft. And that drive shaft is a little C shape in here with a notch cut out where this fits into. Now sometimes you can take your shaft and turn your handpiece so that the notch and the slot line up together, and you insert it like this and connect them with a snap, and you're connected and ready to go. Of course, to disconnect, you just simply pull apart like that. The other method, if you're having trouble lining it up because sometimes you just can't get it quite right, is to very gently press on your foot pedal to start the shaft spinning at a very low speed like this. And slowly insert it into your handpiece. It will pop into the drive shaft of the handpiece. It's now spinning. Connect, and you're ready to go. Just that simple. Now that your flexible shaft is set up, you are ready to get to work. My name's Scott with FDJtool.com. Man, that's way too close. That's like way too freaking close, because I just want to